What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Top Ramen Shaman, and today it is my pleasure to bring you the only advanced Shugoki guide you will ever need. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but I've never been a big fan of the guides that claim to be advanced or claim to teach you, pro tips, but they still only teach you the basic rudimentary tactics that'll never push your Shugoki game to the next level. So I figured that because of the overwhelming support on my last guide over a year ago, I'd like to show you all of the subtle nuances that'll take you from a basic hug spamming beginner Shugoki to a top tier tactician with Big Papa himself. So just like the guide I made in the past, I want to talk about what I would consider the basic fundamentals of Shugoki after his rework, and that's how to properly manage your hyper armor and your stamina while executing smart tactics. As I'm sure you know, Shugoki no longer has passive hyper armor that allows you to absorb one hit before staggering. He now utilizes what I like to call trading armor, which in my opinion outclasses passive armor by miles. Trading armor only activates on swing, but now that it's changed, it now also allows you to maintain a high volume of pressure like never before. It's important to note that, as I said before, the hyper armor will now only initiate on the physical swing of his weapon, so this means that at any moment before you swing a heavy, or your attack transitions into an unblockable, you can be poked, shield bashed, and even grabbed out of your heavy charge. So overall, guys, remember that as a trader and a stamina bully, you control the pace of the fight utilizing your armor and out-damaging your opponent's trades, so make sure you turn that into your advantage. So moving on, I'd like to get into Shugoki's new mind games and combo versatility. Now, since it's every new Shugoki main's favorite move to spam, we'll briefly talk about his new and improved hug. You can now no longer perform a hug from neutral. Instead, you're forced to activate hug through a charged heavy or your typical wall throw. Now, if you pay attention, you can see that a heavy can be soft feinted into a hug almost instantly at the peak of your unblockable swing and any time in between. And considering the tracking is pretty overpowered right now, it's a reliable way to get health and mentally screw your opponent. Now, before we move on to tactics, after performing a successful hug, I want to talk about how important the direction of your charged heavy attack is before hugging. After doing a little bit of research, I noticed that the highest success rate came from performing a fully charged top heavy before feinting into the hug. Now, I'm sure you're asking why, but think about it. Shugoki's top heavies are extremely predictable and easy to dodge since it comes straight down instead of a wide sweep like his side heavies. Shugoki is all about timing and mind games, so using this knowledge to your advantage, the likelihood of your opponent panic dodging too early to dodge the top heavy, which is basically why I use top heavies to bait hugs and side charge heavies to actually hit opponents. So be sure to mix it up though and let your top heavies fly once in a while, because you'd be surprised at how well you can control your opponent's mind and actions while playing Shugo. Now, once you land a successful hug, you do have a few options. You can go for a light or zone, which is the most parried option. You can go for a heavy to try and throw your opponent's timing off, or you can go for a tricky regrab, which is your safest option. But at this point, people are pretty aware of it, so you will most likely get your guard break countered. Now, if you do guard break them, you can do a demon ball to create some spacing, which now, by the way, can be followed up by a guaranteed left side heavy if done against the wall. Or you can simply go another round of punishment if you do land the grab, so it's basically up to you. Now, I actually have one more option, but we will get into that in a minute. One important thing to look out for when you feint a heavy into a hug is the fact that there's a brief moment when you no longer have hyper armor. So if you find yourself getting knocked out of hugs, it means you need to adjust your timing to suit your opponent's attack patterns, so try throwing the hug instantly, or if that is getting dodged and punished, try letting your heavy charge until it's just about to release for the longest stall possible. but be sure that you do have enough health to eat a heavy for the hug. Way too many times do I see these new bandwagon Shugokis desperate for health, going for obvious hugs when they don't have the health to take a hit to trade for the hug, instead of using tactics and spacing to try and mix their opponent up beforehand. But I suppose you can get lucky. Now, after the rework, Shugoki's versatility is so tremendous in nature that his potential is now something your opponent fears rather than mocks. So let's first start off with some simple and reliable strings, such as the 3-piece chicken tenders combo, which consists of either a light, a heavy, a running heavy, or a zone, followed by a headbutt, which now, thanks to the rework, is followed by a charged heavy, which you can let fly, or if you want to add some sauce to your combo, you can feint that heavy into a light, another heavy, a demon's embrace, or a grab. Just note that the headbutt can now be dodged, so in case you do miss, prepare to counter guard break, or you can try and swing a heavy to counter the guard break if they do stall too long. But just be warned that if you do try and use a heavy, there is a possibility that you will get guard broken out of it. Now, another trick I had to add before we move on is the left charge heavy into zone. This simple tactic is another bread and butter move in your arsenal that is great for not only tricking and finishing your opponent, but also amazing at catching side dodges from assassins and the busted ass Wu Lin faction, so be sure to utilize this multiple times throughout your fight as well. Now, putting simple combos aside, if you guys know me, you know I love unorthodox tech. So to start off, I'd like to teach you a move I like to call the Top Ramen Shaman 180 degree where's my money bitch slap surprise. This move is a fantastic opener or finisher due to the fact that the run stumbles your opponent to avoid getting attacked, and the 180 degree follow-up zone is so fast that it's likely to catch your opponent off guard and can even be strung into the 3-piece chicken tender combo for even more mind games and damage. To do this, simply unlock and briefly run away, then charge into your opponent and stop the run by locking on and hitting zone at the same time, which will auto flick you around for a nice slap to the melon. Now, do you remember I told you that there was another sneaky tactic after landing a Demon's Embrace? Well, the next move is one of my personal favorites, as it's an old tech that was once patched out, but is now returning from the grave, and that is the one and only roly-poly lights. This move is not only great to implement mid-fight, but it's also one of the most simple and reliable and tricky finishers that I've ever used. To do it, simply unlock and roll forward into your opponent while spamming the light button. This will not only cause your opponent's grab attempt to bounce, but your new trading armor light will now absorb any damage if they try and swing on you for an easy and most likely hate mail inducing final blow. Now, my next favorite tech is something I like to call the Top Ramen Shaman Salt-Inducing, Hate Mail Producing, Ultimately Confusing, Wow Pretend Dummy Run. This awesome tech essentially causes your opponent to think you're a completely uncoordinated idiot by unlocking and quickly running to the side and missing an unlocked heavy, and make sure you do it close to your opponent, which then baits them to charge you like a big fat dummy and then fiercely spam wow when you lock back on and throw another charged heavy, or soft feint into a Demon's Embrace. Two important things to note is that, remember, you can get poked out of your charged heavies, so if you aren't confident that you can fully charge your heavy, let it fly early to ensure you get your trading armor. The final tip is to be sure you perform this trick close to your opponent, because if you go too far, your opponent's not going to chase you. Remember guys, it's all about mind games. Now look guys, there is still so much I can talk about, but for the sake of the video not being an hour long, I'm just going to wrap it up with a short summary. Overall, the new rework is quite tremendous. Shugoki is an absolute savage, bro, and now offers you even more versatility than ever before. I recommend playing hyper aggressive, but more importantly, play smart. We got an upgrade, but Shugoki is still very easy to counter. In fact, he's so easy to counter, all you have to do is literally unlock and roll away from everything Shugo does and he can never catch you. Because of this, utilizing patience and spacing and also taking the time to learn every hero's kit and how people generally use that character is going to help you out in the long run. So, you have an idea about what you want to trade with from each character because they all are different. Patience and opportunity are key elements in Shugoki's playstyle. Always remember to search for a weakness in your opponent's tactics and force them to mentally shatter under the pressure you can apply. Look, I'm never claiming to be some kind of Shugoki god, the best MLG. Ooh, I'm an MLG pro. But, I truly believe that if you consistently practice and, maybe even follow some of these tactics we talked about today, you'll be on your way to being the next best Shugo main. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Top Ramen Shaman. It's been a very long year since I gave you guys an actual video, and I can't even explain how much I missed it. You guys are still so loving and so supportive, and all I can really say is thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and maybe even learned something new. So, if you have anything else to add, let's talk about it in the comments below. I'd love to have a constructive conversation. If you'd like to follow me on any social media, the links will be in the description below. And if you didn't know, we're actually live streaming on Twitch. And again, the community is monumental. So the link for that will also be below as well. Anyway, that's enough yapping for one video. I love y'all. I hope you have a blessed day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.